Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So listen, we have to address some of these financial problems that are going on within the United States right now. We got 3 articles here that are telling a lot. 3 different entities saying something that people should definitely take note of. But we're going to begin here with this article. It's titled Elon Musk. Remember, remove the person from it. We're going to look at the statement and see if this is factually true. And if it is, then United States needs to start taking some measures to correct certain things before there is a big financial problem. Elon Musk warns, quote, America is going bankrupt, unquote, as interest rate payments on U.S. debt ate up 76% of June's income tax revenue. What? Are people not seeing what's going on? Let's scroll down here. Sorry about that. I got a little air in my chest. Rising national debt. He's not the only one saying this. Like I said, remove the person. Let's look at the facts. Look at the quote. Rising national debt has long been a pressing issue in America and has caught the attention of Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Quote, America is going bankrupt, by the way, unquote, Musk wrote in a recent post on social media platform X. He was responding to a post by Billy Marcus, the creator of Dogecoin. It says Marcus' post included a screenshot of a headline reading, quote, interest rate payments on U.S. national debt will shatter $1.1 trillion this year, eating 76% of all income taxes collected. It says he added a comment expressing his dismay. Quote, I am glad 76% of the income tax I pay goes directly to important things like interest on past government incompetence. Now, he's being a little coarse here, but I can understand why he's upset. Me, I'm more of a person where I'm looking for solutions. How do we solve this problem? And are those solutions being implemented right now? That's the questions that need to be asked. Are they being implemented right now? Where can we find that data on that? I'm just putting questions out there, right? I know how we could do that, but I'm just putting it out there. It says, but just how severe is the financial situation? Let's take a look closer at the numbers. So they're going to hit you with some factual numbers here. All right. Do they even care? Unquote, quote unquote. I don't know who's asking. I guess he's asking that. The headline originated from an article on the Daily Hodl, which featured an analysis by economist E.J. Antony, a research fellow in the Heritage Foundation's Grover M. Herman Center for the Federal Budget, delved into the latest monthly Treasury statement from the Bureau of the Fiscal Service. He pointed out a striking detail. In June 2024, U.S. government spent $140 billion on interest for Treasury debt securities. For context, the government collected $184 billion in individual income taxes that same month. So where do you think this leads? That's how much they got from income taxes that same month, but they spent $140 billion on interest for the Treasury debt securities. So what do you think that, if they're lazy, what do you think that their solution would be? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, that would not be good. Now let's keep going. And the people don't need more problems. They just don't, and not in any way possible, in any way, shape, or form. This means that that an amount equivalent to 76% of June's individual income tax revenue was solely for interest payments on the national debt, not including principal payment. Let's stop there. I want to get to this next article. All right. So now I want to, you know what? I have another article we're going to read at the end about the debt, or maybe we'll see if we get there. We'll see. I want to get to this one here. This article is titled, and it shows that there is a problem going on. I mean, I've been talking about the M2 money supply for 2 years, and it's showing that people's checking accounts, a lot of people's checking accounts and savings accounts have been bottomed out long ago. I think it was last year, September. They said, hey, listen, a lot of people's bank accounts and savings accounts are is reaching zero. And then they start using credit cards. Then we read the data where they said people are maxing out their credit cards. Well, guess what? Now we have an update. This article is titled, Banks Are Bracing for Consumers to Stop Paying Off Their Credit Cards. You don't think there's going to be a problem? Oh, there's a lot we have to address here. I'm telling you right now. Provisions for credit losses rose at J.P. Morgan. This is in addition to all the massive flood of bankruptcies and defaults that have been going on this year. In addition to that, provisions for credit losses at JP Morgan, Citi, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America last quarter. With interest rates sitting at more than 2-decade highs and inflation continuing to bear down on consumers, big banks are preparing to face more risks from their lending practices. Once again, the mentalities must change. You're going to have the same problems over and over again. In the second quarter, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo all raised their provisions for credit losses from the prior quarter. These provisions are the money that financial institutions set aside to cover any potential losses from credit risk, including delinquent or bad debt and lending, like commercial real estate loans. We've been talking about that, right? Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Man. Listen, in this time, I don't know how you don't trust yourself over everyone else, or rather the institutions, when it comes to protecting one's own value, not financial advice. I'm just saying, with so many banks, and once again, hit that members only section, that little join button down below the video or in the description box. Go back a few videos. There's some data that I release, and then check the members only section. Not just watch the videos, but read some of those articles. Look at the numbers. How does once one knows that information, I don't know how they don't start preparing themselves and protecting themselves in every possible way. It says, and it's up to each individual how they choose to protect themselves. There's a myriad of ways to do such. Once again, not financial advice. JP Morgan built up $3 billion in provision for credit losses in the second quarter. Bank of America had $1.5 billion in stores. Citi's allowance for credit losses totaled $21.8 billion at the quarter's end, more than tripling its credit reserve bill from the prior quarter. And Wells had provisions of $1.24 billion. If you haven't smashed the like button already, please smash that like button. I'll greatly appreciate that. The built-up stores show banks bracing for a riskier environment where both secured and unsecured loans could create bigger losses for some of the nation's largest banks. This is in addition to everything else they've got going on. And they've got a lot of problems, folks. A recent analysis of household debt by the New York Fed found that Americans owe collective $17.7 trillion. What? On consumer loans, student loans, and mortgages. Credit card issuance and subsequently delinquency rates are also on the rise as people's redacted era savings run out, which is interesting. I was reading data that said it ran out months ago. months back, long time ago. But I have heard, from certain governmental representatives, they say, well, people still have some of that redacted, era savings left. They still have money left. No, who? From that era? So who? Of the regular people, of the masses, who? One thing I can say, listen, the masses, unfortunately, they don't have good saving habits. They have good spending habits. They can spend, which is, I believe, a product of a lot of consumer conditioning. Look, in the 90s, the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s, there was a massive amount of just commercials, and they were well done, pushing people to just buy. You have to have it. And now you have this new era of so-called influencers, and they want you to have everything. So the people were spending that money. So I don't know why these representatives would say such things, but we know they speak untruths a lot. Credit card balances totaled $1 trillion in the first quarter of this year, the second consecutive quarter where the sum of all cardholders' balances exceeded the $1 trillion mark, according to TransUnion. My word. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.